G'day humans, Chris Stead here. Today I'm reviewing the DJI Power 500 power station. So if you're a regular to my channel, you'd know that I've reviewed plenty of power stations over the years. In fact, you can see some of them lying around beside me right now. And so as soon as I saw that DJI was making a power station, I got pretty excited because DJI makes some really good quality stuff. In fact, I've also got reviews on the channel of things like the Mini 4 Pro drone, the Action 3 camera, there's the Osmo Pocket. There's plenty of great stuff that DJI makes, and it's really well made, really good quality stuff. So to have a brand like that enter the power station space is reason to get excited. Now, even though this is kind of made for drone users specifically, it's also just a general purpose power station. And I'm really hoping, or I was really hoping when I got my hands on it, that the kind of quality we've seen in the other DJI products will transfer across here to the power station. So anyway, let's dive into my my DJI Power 500 review, and we'll start with the price. So this thing in Australia retails for $729. That's for the 500 watt hour. There is a 1000 watt hour variant, which is obviously more expensive, but for the 500 watt hour, you can expect to pay $729. And that puts it in about the middle of the range. So it's below your EcoFlow, it's below your Jackery, it's below your Yeti. In fact, it's below this EcoFlow, which is the River 2, which is another 500 watt hour comparison point. It's about the same as iTech World, which I think I've got an iTech World here somewhere. That one over there, that one over here. It's kind of a bit more expensive than the NRG Volt and a few others on the market as well. So middle of the range, which I think is pretty good for something that's got the DJI brand power and brand behind it. So what are you getting for your money? Let's jump in and have a look at the kind of the key specs. So as mentioned, there's a 512 watt hour capacity on this. Look, it's a lithium iron phosphate battery. That's what you want. You don't want just a lithium IRON, you want lithium ION phosphate. That's just a safer battery, trust me, you want it to be safe. It's got a max power output of 1000 watts, so that means you can run up to 1000 watts worth of drain on it at any given time. Charge time's about 70 minutes in fast charge mode, although they don't really recommend that. There's a slower charge mode, which I think takes 130 minutes, but 70 minutes in fast charge mode. And you're gonna get about 4,000 life cycles out of that. The weight is 7.3 kilograms, so not too bad there. It can take up to 400 watts of solar. It's quiet, really quiet. It's 25 decibel volume on it. Now there's 6 outputs. So you've got 2 ACs, you've got 2 24 watt USB A's, and you've got 2 100 watt USB C's. Now what's really cool about the USB C's is that they can not only just charge things at 100 watts, but you can also charge it through USB-C. So you can charge it through AC, solar, USB-C, all these types of things. I'll get into that more in a sec. And you've got the 2 AC ports as well. There's also an SDC port, and this is a software-defined port, and I'll go into that in a little bit more in a second, but that's kind of like the big point of difference with this particular power station over everything else in the market. So we'll go into that a little bit later. As I mentioned, 4,000 life cycles. I didn't mention that that's 70% capacity after 4,000 life cycles. And it's got the battery management system in play, so that's power outage protection. It's got 10 fuses and 11 temperature sensors, which are just going to watch the battery to make sure that if something goes wrong, it shuts itself down. And trust me, you want to do that. Take it from a guy whose house got blown up by a lithium-ion battery. So let's dive into the design of the DJI Power 500 and how it looks. And as you can probably see from what's around you, it's a bit different. It's a bit kind of like business out the front and party out the back. It's an unorthodox shape compared to, well, what you can see around you, which kind of tend to go that way. It's thinner, everything you need is at the front, and out the back here, you've pretty much got nothing but your fan and your handle, which is really easy to hold and really easy to grasp. In fact, I've got to say, the material that this is made out of feels really rigid and strong. It's like it's going to hold up in some pretty rough environments. It doesn't kind of cave in when you push it in any way. It's plastic, but it's a hard plastic. So obviously, easy access from the front. for everything. What's interesting is that the charging, so that's your AC charging port here, is also on the front. That's unusual. We don't usually see that. It's usually somewhere else on the device. The screen is like, it's functional. It's not amazing. It's not a touch screen. It's not trying to do anything fancy with visuals or anything like that, but it doesn't really need to. It basically just tells you all you need to know really clearly, really obviously, and really obvious as well. So design-wise, I think it's pretty neat. It's actually quite easy to store in this form factor. It's easy to kind of just slide in and out of a shelf. That kind of distance is pretty good for, you know, your standard shelf as well. And it's got the nice flat surface on top, which I always like, because it allows you to sit things on it like a phone or a tablet or something that you're charging can sit nice and comfortably on top. And it's also when you're packing into your trailer or into a car or something like that, again, things can just go on top of it nice and easy. So overall, in terms of just kind of the general design, it's all business. There's not a hell of a lot going on, and I kind of like it. But it's not so much about what it has as much as it is what it doesn't have. Because in having this kind of smaller frontage, it cuts back on some of the features that might become you might think of as being standard in most power stations. So you've got no 12 volt port, as you can see. There's no light. So you can't just kind of, if you're in the dark, you can't just tap a light and have the light the scene up for you, which is super handy. There's no wireless charging, so you can't just put your phone on top and just have it charge. A few kind of features like that, which I definitely use, even like just a light jack, like a 12 volt small jack as well. Stuff like that's just not there. And to be fair to them, that's not what they're after. They're after the drone market. That's what they're saying is like, if you buy a DJI drone, you should get this DJI Power Station, and it's going to be, deliver it for phones, but deliver everything you need in terms of powering your drones. But the point for me is that it can be so much more than that. It can be an all-purpose power station that's going to give you a fair, dosage of power, whether that's on the move, charging a laptop, simple stuff like that, or even as I did when I tested it, I just ran a fridge off it. So, that kind of general purpose use is nullified somewhat by the fact that it kind of strips back a lot of the features that many people might use for things other than charging drones. Right, now we do need to talk about this port here, which is the SDC port, that's software defined port. So basically, the way that this operates is it is a more efficient way of transferring the power that's within the power station itself into charging the device without trying to convert it along the way, from DC to AC or something like that. So the basic concept here is that the SDC port is going to drain less watt hours because there's less kind of effort going into getting it to your device, and it's going to fast charge your device better. So that's great, right? And this is kind of like the big standout feature for this, because SDC ports are not commonplace at the moment. And this kind of future-proofs the device to a certain extent for upcoming tech and everything. But there's, sorry, I should say, this also, it doubles for more than that. So this also doubles for your solar. So your solar charge is going to go in here to the SDC port. It's also going to double for car charging. So if you want to charge off your car into here, and then obviously the different drones and other devices, that can power off SDC. The problem is that none of the cables for any of that are included in the box, and they're all extras, and they're all kind of different. It's not like there's one universal cable here, not even for the drones. So even the different DJI drones have different SDC cables, and then you've got a different one for solar, and then you've got a different one for your car charger. It's a lot of cables you have to buy extra to get full purpose use out of this. And because there's no, I forgot to mention before when we're talking about what's not there, there's also no Anderson port, right? So you can charge it with 400 watts of solar, but you don't have to go and get the solar to SDC adapter cable for extra. You can't just use your existing solar panels that you may have and plug it into it. So the port's there, but the ability to use it isn't exactly user-friendly. But at least the performance is good. So let's talk about how it operates. And 500 watt hours isn't a heck of a lot. It's not what I definitely not. If I'm going camping, I'm taking like one of these bad boys. It's 2,000 watt hours. This one here, 2,000 watt hours, right? That's going to power my fridge for days and charge everything else I want to charge at the same time. That's what I take camping. This little thing's probably not going to do much for you on a camping trip that's definitely any longer than 24 hours, but probably, I mean, I ran a fridge off it as part of my tests. I put the fridge on minus, just dual zone fridge, it wasn't this one, it was another one. Dual zone fridge, put it on minus 18 degrees on both sides, and it was doing well, like it was hot, like it did a good job, and it's very quiet, it's super quiet, possibly the quietest power station I've ever heard, or not heard, but it just doesn't have the battery capacity to do that for very long. And by the time I got up in the morning, the fridge was freezing, but the battery was gone. And so performance-wise, it's good. You just got to know what hours you need for the use case. Now, obviously, it's focused on drones. So you go get your drone, you plug your drone in, it's going to recharge your drone, it's going to recharge your phone like a dozen plus times, if not more. Your tablets, your cameras, your Action 4, your Osmo Pocket, all that kind of stuff. USB-C is going to still charge things great. It's just going to be less efficient than using that SDC port if that's your go. So the option's there if you're a hardcore drone user to get this device, get the cable that you need for your drone, and get basically the maximum amount of power station battery per drone charge. And if that's you, happy days. But it's frustrating to me that so much of the further potential beyond that, the use cases that it could have beyond just charging drones, are somewhat nerfed by the fact that this SDC port isn't as multifunctional as it could be, because you need to get all these additional cables and everything. Obviously, you've got your AC ports, you've got USB-C ports, it's still going to do stuff for you, but you can't just plug the solar in, I can't just charge it in a car, and those type of things do hold it back slightly, in my opinion. In thinking about how I was going to wrap up my DJI Power 500 review, I realized that this thing does so many, well, this power station does so many things right, but it also does so many things wrong, which makes it a really interesting device to recommend. At the end of the day, it's efficient, it's quiet, it's got a lovely design, it's got really good top-line USB-C ports that are going to power your device well, and the AC ports up to 1,000 watts. And I didn't mention it before as well, but I found it to charge quite quickly. I know it said 70 minutes, but I found it actually charged a bit faster than that in my experience. So it's doing all these things right. In having the SDC port there, it's doing something different, and that the market needs something different. It could be pushing into a new space that a lot of people might follow in the future. But it's so niche. It doesn't actually end up being that great all-rounder because of the lack of key ports, because so much of the cool functionality is gated behind having the right cables, which don't come in the box. And I feel like if DJI can find a way to create some uniformity between this port and the way that it accesses devices and charging, be that through solar, be that through the car charger, be that through the various drones, like even if they just unified the DJI products, so all the DJI products could use it through one cable, then I think it'd be onto a real winner and something that could really shake up the category. But as it stands for now, unless you've got a drone and unless you're going to use this SDC port, you're probably going to end up wanting to go a different direction, which is a shame. You're so close, DJI. You're so close. I can't wait to see what happens next as you do more in the power station space. Maybe bundle with some solar panels. Maybe bundle it with some cables. Anyway, those are my thoughts on the DJI Power 500. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure you check out my other videos, including some reviews of what you see around me. And until next time, check you later. You.